Hello, it is Bez, and I am walking through Bangkok. It's another Bangkok-based blether as I wander and talk to you about stuff. Now, in the title, or in the YouTube description at least, I mentioned that there's a few reasons I'm doing this. I'm doing it to share my memories. I'm doing it to preserve my memories for my future self, but I'm mainly doing it for connections. I mean, connection for my future self, sure, but also connections to what's around me. Like as I wander around, it's forcing me to think about everything. By speaking out loud, it forces you to really connect your thoughts. But on Facebook, I put a thing up that said, for each person that likes this, I will make a video. So this one here is dedicated to Dave Wetherall, lovely game designer, and this is a connection to Dave. So, Cambodia, I went there for a visa run. I did not go to any of the normal sites. I went to Poi Pet, the border town, the place that people normally run through, they rush through in maybe just a few hours. And I took my time there. I just wanted to explore this one wee village to get a sense of this place that's overlooked. A border town, and now on Wikipedia I learnt that there would be quite a few casinos. It says that the casinos stretch along the border. That's not quite true. I mean, along the border there's a river and there's lots of plastic and there's lots of poverty. Um, but sure, there is a kind of key area near to the left as you enter from Thailand. And that area is going to be, how can I put it? Lots of casinos, one of which I had a free meal in and then ended up talking to a Cambodian person who then introduced me to an English person who had all sorts of interesting conspiracy theories. Um, there's a lot of massage parlours, more upscale restaurants, and a giant supermarket with 7-Eleven and all sorts of stuff. Um, I think that I'm really thankful to have explored Phuket. And it reminds me how we only see a small part of anywhere we've been. Like, I'm spending months in Bangkok. I mean, I'm based in Bangkok right now. And I'm based in Saton, which is kind of south centre, and then in a few days I'm going to be moving to a new Airbnb just for a bit of a change, just to see something different, which will be about 10 minutes walk away. And there's definitely um, things that I've gotten to know. And so CD, who says, on my way home after a big gaming evening, is this far from your area? I've just walked about 10 minutes. I'm now on a big long stretch from, and you can see what's going on. I'm just walking straight up for about 15 minutes or so towards my friend Faradak, who's a lovely person, and I'm so grateful for, again, talking about connections, the fact that we were able to connect on the internet, and now we see each other in person. And then on the internet, like this morning, I was like, hey, how are you? She's like, you know, not ideal, but like we can go over and have some board games. Like I'm not taking anything fast, nothing stressful, but there's, you know, a few things in this bag. So, Poi Pet, back to Cambodia. It's a really, really weird one, right? All of these buildings half finished, and it feels like they don't really have a good sense of how it's going to look in a few years. The place where I was staying kind of exemplified this fact by having wallpaper in the bathroom. what kind of person does that? And then the wallpaper was starting to fade, and like at the top there were these spider webs, and it was like obvious that it might have looked lovely when it was first made, but and don't get me wrong, it was livable for sure. I mean, there was a wee bit of air conditioning, and the whole thing felt like it was out of a film, going into all these identical rooms, seeing all these identical doors, and then finally there's this little one where in my room, oh, you can see that Bangkok, I guess, stuff shots, some of it at around 5 o'clock. One thing I want to say is, like, you know, traffic lights. I mean, here, you actually get to see, hey, it's green, I have the right, I can walk forward. But I think that's as much to do with big cities versus small cities. It's not necessarily a Cambodian versus Thai thing, but I will say, in all of Poi Phet, I didn't see a single traffic light. I will also say that in Poi Phet, there's a lot more traffic than here. It's a lot more kind of crazy. And also, all the people, like the tuk-tuk drivers and motorcycle drivers, it's like they're saying, hey, would you like a taxi? And eventually I kind of got annoyed and just started saying, hey, and kind of course, rather than ignoring them, it was just, I guess it kind of felt empowering to engage with them. Does that make sense? I had heard about there being violence against trans women, which is obviously concerning for me. And so before I went, like, I didn't take any makeup with me. I, you know, washed everything off very thoroughly, and I, you know, took my most androgynous clothes, let's say. But still, on my first day of being there, there was like bits of jeering from some people. At the time, I was thinking, maybe I got clocked a couple of times by women who said, hey, when came in, I thought you were a girl, and then I told them because I felt a little bit safer, but a bunch of guys, like, in the street, like a big group, and then suddenly shouting at me, saying, hey, you're a lady boy. And it wasn't until I returned that I realised it wasn't necessarily about my clothes. It was purely because every single guy in that I'd seen had very similar haircuts. Does that make sense? So, like, even the fact of having long hair was enough to, you know, make people think, to gender type me, I guess. Which is interesting, but it's a sad indictment of how genders it is. CD, thank you very much for the message of support. When you say these areas, do you mean Southeast Asia, or do you mean Poi Phet? Because the way I see it is Poi Phet in Cambodia is all about, it's so different from Bangkok, and yeah, I've promised myself that these will be 10 minutes maximum, and then I'll do maximum of 10 minutes singing after that, just to warn you that I might stop speaking afterwards. So, I guess what I'm saying is that I do feel like I got a really good sense of Poi Phet. I wandered through all the back streets. I walked around for 8 hours. I saw people with their chickens, with their goats. I walked past the border patrol guards when I maybe wasn't supposed to. But, you know, that's the way that Poi Phet is. Because so much of it is under construction, you're generally not quite sure where you're meant to go and where you're not, because, like, they have they have an unfinished building, totally unfinished, and then the car park's already being used. It's like, let's get this into use as soon as possible. Oh yeah, so Thailand, I think, is relatively safe. It's not perfect, by any means, but it does feel relatively safe. And I will say that also these kinds of things, they very, oh, that's 10 minutes. So, well, everywhere we go, we only see a little bit. Everywhere we go, it might be good, it might be shit. Everywhere we go, we only see a little bit of stuff. But maybe that's enough. Everywhere we go, we only see a little. Everywhere we go, we only see the places that we go. But everywhere we go, we connect with the things around us, maybe. And that's basically what I'm saying. And so, yeah. Hello, Tony. It's lovely to see you. Tony, just singing and wrapping up the stream. Hello, Timmy. And it's good to see you. And it is just gone 5 p.m. This is a major road where motorcycles go on the pavement, but at least there's a pavement unlike Poipet, because in Poipet there is not any pavement in most places. In Poipet you need to walk along the train tracks. In Poipet it feels like everyone's out to get you, and there's free currencies, not just to. There's US dollar and Cambodian dollars, and also Thai currency, because they want to trade with the Thai people coming in, and there's cheap stuff, and then you walk around, and then you walk around a bit more, and then you think this is kind of sad, and everything's unfinished, and there's a bit more poverty in Phuket, but maybe there is in Bangkok, and I've just not seen it. To me, yes, on the motorcycle, I understand you couldn't hear me. I'm glad you can hear me well now. Lots of love. And just to reiterate, I am going to finish up now. I'm just going to focus on doing these quick streams, about 10 minutes. Whenever I have something to talk about, maybe once a day, but there's not going to be any set schedule. I'll just work out something that works out for me, and if I see you, then it will be lovely to see you. If I don't see you, then maybe at some point in the future. But in any case, I am going to say lots of love, and bye bye, bye bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye bye, bye bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye bye, bye bye. This is the end of the show. Bye bye, bye bye. And now it's time to go. Bye bye, bye bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye bye, bye bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye bye, bye bye. This is the end of the show. Bye bye, bye bye. And now I'm going to go. Lots of love and bye bye everyone. Bye bye. This is. Bye bye.